Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It indeed is an honor to welcome you to the 10th Gen X 2021. I've had a long association with Legal Era, and it's a pleasure to be here. This, as you can see, is a unique event which is being conducted virtually and gives an opportunity for far more people to be able to attend and get the benefit of all the session that's happening. It's, as Shikha said, that it is spread over 4 weeks, and the conference of the topic is already known to you. Today we have got two topics. Today is the second day of the week, and we will be dealing with all of the topics. We've got special panelists who shall take you through their experiences. So I just want to thank you at the very start for joining in for the session. COVID-19 pandemic, as we are all grappling with, has brought unprecedented changes and challenges to business and our lives at large. With, of course, a few exceptions, the pandemic has in fact affected almost every sector of the economy and has brought one of the worst global economic slowdown in recent times. This has also brought to light the inadequacies and the fallacies to deal with such situations. Hence, globally, markets and organizations are today transforming and re-strategizing their approach to adapt to the disruptive change in the economy. It has also brought to light the ESG related challenges, amongst others, various other, which we will be talking about later today, facing the world, while highlighting the need for a collective action to solve them. It has made companies also rethink the way we do business and revisit our priorities. These are crucial so as to be able to facilitate collaboration, integration, and innovation that will usher in a new area of sustainable value creation. Today, all of us, be it in our personal life, be it in our official life, are actually reinventing the wheel and seeing as to how best we can make of ourselves and get the best of this whole approach. While difficult times may not remain, while difficult times still lay ahead, we are not still over. There's a lot of talk about the third wave coming in. We do not know whether it will come. And if it comes, how serious it's going to be, whether it will be as bad as the second wave. US is already facing the fourth wave. But embracing opportunities to collaborate, integrate, and innovate will help to turn the tide in favor of organization growth and sustainable development. These developments have present both risk and opportunity for businesses, governments, and the regulators as well. Today, the first session is, where does India stand on ESG as environment, social, and governance today? We're talking about today, and where do we stand on that? A recent study by the Harvard Business School found that an investment of USD1 after 20 years yielded USD28 in return for those companies that focused on ESG, as against USD14 for those that do not. So clearly there is a need and there is a business rationale for your focus on ESG. Now, this pandemic has in fact brought focus towards long-term value creation, and it has become business as usual. Hence, although ESG has gained traction in the past decade, but now calls for transformation of business strategy again across organization. As companies, leaders, and investors navigate these volatile and uncertain times, an opportunity has emerged to examine how each company is faring with their respective ESG practices. Global markets are transforming, and capital markets are also re-strategizing their approach to adapt to the disruptive change in economy. Globally, also adapting to and mitigating climate change impact, inclusive growth, and transitioning to a sustainable economy has emerged as a major issue. This has led to increased focus of investors and other stakeholders seeking business and to be responsible and sustainable towards the environment and society. In fact, in May this year, SEBI has also has notified new reporting requirement on ESG parameters, and they have extended it further. They said that the principles laid down therein, each has to be dealt with from both into essential as well as the leadership indicator. Of course, however, the leadership indicators are a preference, but recommended. It has also provided SEBI also understands that there could be a lot of ambiguity in it, and hence therefore has provided guidance notes to enable company to interpret the scope of the disclosures. Thus, a strong ESG proposition will help organization, amongst others, to create value of the organization for the organization and address shareholder capitalism issues and enjoy a long-term sustainable and business continuity. In fact, a recent survey was conducted amongst the board members in India, and it was found that most of the directors indicated a no to low conversation on ESG in board meetings. The board of companies has thus today must acknowledge that ESG is a business imperative rather than a buzzword that can be swept under the carpet for the time being. We have a great panelist this afternoon to share with you their experience and knowledge as to where India stands on ESG today. Following that, we will have another session, which is independence of independent directors. The role of independent director in this pandemic has really evolved, and they have also been stepping themselves up to it. Not just organization today, just the organization stepping away. As I said, the boards are also reinventing themselves and contributing majorly into the growth of the organization. One of the major impact of this pandemic has been that almost all board meetings have 100% attendance. Directors don't need to travel, so they have the flexibility and they're able to manage the time. So time management is much better. So this is one of the boom that our pandemic has given. And as I said, board members are also adapting themselves to this new era of virtual meeting and also their accountability. Members of the board also understand the impact of pandemic, and have engaged themselves in discussions with management on topics which may not have been as prominently discussed as in the past. For example, the employee safety, health, well-being, cash preservation, staff retention, redundancy plans, labor mobility, digitalization, and supply chain alignment. There's also a lot of focus on cybersecurity, data privacy, and confidential, because most of us are doing virtual meeting. And also a lot of business is happening virtually. Most of us, I think when there was a complete lockdown, we did nothing but we were all glued to our laptops and our computers to attend all meetings and business challenges. So there is a lot of focus on, as I said, on data privacy and cybersecurity. The regular items. Now, in addition to that, the regular items which the board discusses, such as planning, business plans, review of financial performance, are now being reviewed by them with a different rigor and with a lot of vigilance. So therefore, during this pandemic, we've seen another good positive impact is the promoter-led organization are increasingly focused on inducting independent directors with specific professional experience and background. One reason for this shift in mindset could also be the need for diversity of skill set and perspective on the board, which could indeed help the organization to plan better. All said and done, it would be interesting to know whether or not the independent directors are really independent, or do they enjoy the independence as has been envisaged both in the statute and as in the name so defines, independent director. So therefore, the second session today we have is the unheard voice of the independence of independent directors. We have a panelist of independent directors who will be sharing with you their experience on their independence of independent director. And I don't want to take the thunder away from what they want to present. So I would like to now hand over to my other panelists, the speakers, for them to take us through this. And once again, thank you so much and welcome all of you to this session.